Fun fact: the number 5 has been worn by more Knicks than any other number in franchise history. A total of 28 players have worn the number. 3 of those individuals all wore the number in the same inaugural 1947 season. Ironically, of the 28 who have worn the number, there isn't one player who comes to mind first if you asked me to name the first Knick who I associate with wearing the number. Now, before I get chewed up in the comments, yes, I am fully aware that Immanuel Quickley wears the number 5. Let's be honest, though. Most Knicks fans, if they were to answer that question and give Quickley as the response, are most likely doing so from a top-of-mind perspective, as he's the most recent and relevant person. Sure, any Knicks fan could argue that the nod should go to Jason Kidd. But should it though? He wore it for only one season, during the last year of his career, in which he averaged just 6 points and 5 assists per game. So, if you are going with Kidd, you clearly are going with the household name who has just 76 career games under his belt as a New York Knick. Well, you might ask, what about Jalen Rose? Like Kidd, Rose is another household name who had a short tenure with the Knicks at the tail end of his career. Over the course of just 26 games with the Knicks, Rose averaged 12 points per game, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists per game. At the end of the day, it can't possibly be him. This is going to be a fun one that I hope leads to lengthy debates in the comments section. Considering my last prediction of Nate Robinson walking home with number 4 wasn't even close, Karl Braun took those honors by a significant margin. I'm not going to make a true prediction beyond my assumption that Quickley will garner the most votes. This week's segment will be done slightly differently than the previous 4 segments of WWIB, as there are more names to call out across a pretty level playing field, and thus more names will be highlighted with a toned-down approach to their bios. In chronological order of Knick notable number 5s. Dick Van Arsdale. Van Arsdale was not the first Knick to wear the number 5. In fact, there were 12 players who wore the number before he did from 1966 to 68. Arsdale was taken by the Knicks during the second round of the 1965 NBA draft and would receive all rookie team honors that season, in which he averaged 12.8 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 2.3 assists per game. His second season in the league was even more impressive, averaging 15.1 points, 7 rebounds, and 3.1 assists per game. When the Phoenix Suns joined the NBA in 1968, they chose him as their first overall expansion pick. Van Arsdale would go on to playing 9 years with the Suns, making the All-Star team 3 times. During his first 3 seasons with the Suns, Van Arsdale averaged 21 or more points per game.